Okay, this is my second attempt at this. First time, I just did this whole spiel on it for 10 minutes and ended up with a still photograph. So let's try again. Okay, so this is Bluegrass Instrumentals by Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys. It's a compilation album that came out in 1965. And the times that these were recorded ranges from 1951 till 1963, but most of them were recorded in the late 50s. Now, this is all instrumentals, and there aren't any fiddle tunes. It's all original instrumentals, and uh, most of them are fiddle emphasizing. For most of them, there's at least two fiddles. Some of them have three fiddles. A few of them have one fiddle. By fiddle emphasizing, I mean that there's a fiddle break, and then a mandolin break, then a fiddle break, then a banjo break, then a fiddle break. And most of those fit that format. So I can't read this and show you the picture at the same time, so I'm going to pick it up here. So you'll just have to look at the actual record there. So let's show you the back here. So lots of notes about every single song here, and it even tells you who all the musicians are, except it doesn't tell you who plays mandolin. I'm guessing that's Bill Monroe. The songs are all credited to Bill Monroe, except Sailor's Hornpipe was credited to Keith Bradford. That's Bill Keith, but Bill Monroe didn't want there to be two Bills in his band, so he made him change his name to Bradford while he was in the band. So starts off with Stony Lonesome, which is a fiddle emphasizing tune with Robert Caldwell Hicks, also known as Bobby Hicks, and Charles M. Smith, also known as Charlie Smith, on fiddle. Banjo is Robert Lee Pennington. Guitar is Vernon Crawford Cook, or Jack Cook. And bass is Bessie Lee Malden. The second song is Sailor's Hornpipe, which has Kenny Baker, or Kenneth Clayton Baker, on fiddle, and William Bradford Keith, or Bill Keith, on banjo. Horace Benjamin Williams, or Benny Williams, on guitar, and Bessie Lee Malden on bass. Now this is a banjo emphasizing tune using Bill Keith's melodic style banjo. Normally banjo, only a few of the notes are actually melody and the rest is filler, but with this melodic style, every single note is a melody note. It makes fiddle tunes easier to play. Bobby Thompson actually did this first, but he didn't make as big a splash as Bill Keith did, so a lot of people call it Keith style instead of melodic style. Okay, so next is Tall Timber, another fiddle emphasizing tune with three fiddles: Vassar Clements, Gordon Terry, and Bobby Hicks. Joe Stewart on banjo, Charlie Klein on guitar, and Bessie Lee Malden on bass. That's followed by Get Up John, which has Charlie Klein on fiddle, Rudy Lyle on guitar, and Rudy Lyle on banjo, Jimmy Martin on guitar, and Ernie Newton on bass. And this is a mandolin emphasizing tune, so there's a mandolin break, then a fiddle break, then a mandolin break, then a banjo break, then a mandolin break. And Bill retunes his E string and G string so that they're playing, the E string's playing two different notes, one to a D and one to an A, and the G string is retuned to an A and an F sharp, so it makes it sound like two mandolins. It's an interesting tuning there. Next comes Brown County Breakdown, which has three fiddles again: Vassar Clements, Gordon Terry, Bobby Hicks, Joe Stewart on banjo, Charlie Klein on guitar, and Bessie Lee Malden on bass. And that's followed by Panhandle Country with Kenny Baker and Bobby Hicks on fiddle, Joseph Dunright on banjo, and Thomas Ed Mayfield on guitar, and Bessie Lee Malden on bass. Now, Bessie Lee Malden was having an affair with Bill, And one night, his wife ambushed the band outside the Grand Ole Opry and got in a fist fight, basically Malden. Little gossip there. On side 2, starts off with Big Mun, which has Bobby Hicks on fiddle and Robert Lee Pennington on banjo, Jack Cook on guitar, and Bessie Lee Malden on bass. That's followed by Santa Claus, which is a banjo emphasizing tune. Banjo, mandolin, banjo, fiddle, banjo. Has Kenny Baker on fiddle, Bill Keith on banjo, Jackie Phelps on guitar, and Bessie Lee Malden on bass. And then his Scotland, which has Kenny Baker and Bobby Hicks on fiddle, Joseph Dumright on banjo, Thomas Ed Mayfield on guitar, and Bessie Lee Malden on bass. Now this one is almost all fiddle, and there's only 2 fiddlers. It sounds like more than that because they're doing double stops, and there's a mandolin break in the middle. The banjo has no break. It plays a background roll during the fiddle part, but not during the mandolin part. This is followed by Rawhide, which is a mandolin emphasizing song, and it's probably one of Bill's best instrumentals as far as the mandolin is concerned. It has mandolin, then fiddle, then mandolin, then banjo, then mandolin. Has Merle Red Taylor on fiddle, Rudy Lyle on banjo. I think this is Rudy Lyle's best banjo moment. He is not as famous as he ought to be. Jimmy Martin on guitar and Joel Price on bass. That's followed by Monroe's hornpipe, which has Bobby Hicks on fiddle. It sounds like more than one fiddler here, and it's not because it's double stops. It sounds like more than one fiddler playing the same note at the same time. Bobby Hicks gets a lot out of his instrument for this. Robert Lee Pennington's on banjo, Sam Cooke on guitar, and Bessie Lee Malden on bass. Finally, Wheelhouse is last, another fiddle emphasizing tune with Charlie Klein and Bobby Hicks on fiddle, Hubert Davis on banjo, Jackie Phelps on guitar, and Ernie Newton on bass. So that is Bluegrass Instrumentals. I'm thinking there ought to be more on this. There ought to be a double album. And so what would I put on a double album? Well, from the 40s, I would put Tommy Magnus's version of Katie Hill, and also the Bluegrass Stomp, the version that Chubby Wise and Earl Scruggs played on. And from the 70s, I would put, because they're my favorites, Ashland Breakdown, Jerusalem Ridge, Watson Blues, and Monroe's Blues. And from the 90s, I would include My Last Days on Earth. And that's not enough to make a double album, so what else would you put on there? Comment and let me know.